Hello and welcome. Today I'll be talking about a tool I wish I had known before I started designing websites. Stay tuned. Okay, so today we are talking about web hosting. Now I know there's hundreds and hundreds of companies out there that offer this service. Over the years, I've been really frustrated by one major thing, which is websites being hacked. Now, I've been hosting a lot of websites for clients, close to 100 websites at one point. It's been very difficult to manage them, especially if there's an update that needs to go across all these websites. So I know there's other options that I could have done. I could have done a multi-site sites, but this was not an option at the time, and these clients were growing over time. Over a year ago, I came across a company called Flywheel. Flywheel Sites is amazing because it's pretty much covered most of the things that really got me annoyed when it came to hosting clients' websites. I know I'm mostly talking about clients' website. This also applies if you want to build your own website. Now let's go through one of the major things that I think you need to consider when you set up a website. So first of all, backups. Now your traditional hosting like Site5, HostGator, Bluehost, they don't offer backups. And if they do, it's an extra charge. There are also plugins out there that do a very good job of doing your backups. But the reason why I love the way Flywheel does it is because it's within your hosting. So you can go in there, it's a beautiful dashboard. You can see all your backups. And by the way, they do daily backups. So you can always go back, restore the backup that you want, and you're up and running. Now, if you're using a plugin, there's a lot of fiddling around. And although I can do it, I don't have time to be messing around. So this option is one of the options that really made me think, oh, wow, this is very good. There's also another thing, which is collaboration. Just today, I had a problem that I couldn't solve on one of my websites, and I had to ask one of my friends to help me out. So what makes it easier is if you log into your dashboard on Flywheel, you can actually add someone as a collaborator. Now, what that does is it gives them access to work on your website without giving them all this WordPress username and password and all of that craziness. So that I think is a very good feature. And once the person that's helping you is done, you can always just delete right from your dashboard, which I think is really cool. Okay, so let's go on to the next point, which is staging websites. Now, staging sites is very important because if you want to make a major update to your website, what do? Do you download that website, work offline? Yes, that's an option, but you can imagine what goes through that, especially if it's a massive website. We're talking about large files being downloaded and uploaded. Now, on Flywheel, the amazing thing is you can create a staging site, which means it makes a copy of your current website, and then it has its own subdomain, which means you can go onto it, log on, and do as many changes as you want. If it's a redesign, you can actually redesign that whole website. Now, once you're happy with it and you've tested it, all you need to do is push a button, and that website that you've been working on overrides your current one, which means you'll have the updated one. I think this feature is phenomenal because it saves you time from downloading and uploading files and working remotely and all of that. So this is a very good feature, especially if you're a freelancer. I mean, if a client asks you for a redesign, you can quickly redesign the website behind the scenes and they can see that website on a subdomain. This does not only apply to redesigning websites. This also applies to plugins. Let's say, for example, you're trying to test different plugins to see if they work. Right, you can do this on a staging site. If everything works okay, boom, that's it. You push it forward and that becomes your current working website. Okay, let's move on to the option for SSL. Now, SSL is one of those things that Google announced recently that they're going to make it compulsory. Now, if your website doesn't have SSL, that means that Google will not be prioritizing it in the rankings. So this is a big deal. I remember a site which I had on one of these hosting platforms. I forgot which one it is. I think it was Site5. I had to go through a whole process of purchasing the SSL certificate, and I think there was a lot of settings that I had to do. I know it's not complicated, but when it comes to Flywheel, it's easy. You just go in there, there's a click of a button and one plugin that you need to install, and that's it. And by the way, it's free too, so you don't have to pay extra for that. It comes with your hosting. Now let's move on to security. Now this is the most important one. I've had situations where my sites have been hacked. I mean, I'm talking clients' websites and my own personal websites. It's one of those things that I never thought would happen to me, but when it happened, it really sucked. It meant sleepless nights, and also clients. Remember, you've got clients that are paying you on a monthly basis to maintain their website, and once it goes down, you have to do whatever you can to make that website work. Not so long ago, one of the websites was hacked, and trust me, I had to rebuild that website because I couldn't find where the problems were and I had no backups. So everything was all over the place. The security situation is sorted when you sign up with Flywheel because they take care of malware scanning, and they use a company called Security, which is fantastic. And this is one of those companies that are really good at malware scanning. So they have that integrated. So every single website you have is scanned free of charge. So you don't have to worry about installing plugins for security plugins. All that's taken care of, which I think is peace of mind when you're building websites. The other thing that also is important is if you do get malware, they automatically remove that malware for you. Some companies, they'll charge you a lot of money for that, trust me. These are the things that I think make Flywheel very, very good. I know it's slightly more expensive. I think it's about $14, but it's well worth it. If you add the security plugins, the backup plugins, and all the maintenance work on your website and the time it takes for you to fix those things, trust me, if you go for a hosting plan which costs say $5 or $4, it comes with its own headaches. Oh, and one other thing that makes Flywheel awesome is you can actually build a website without actually committing to paying anything for it. You get 14 days to have your own subdomain that you can work on. And I think that's fantastic because you can try it out and see if it works for you. If not, you can just let it expire. I know it sounds like everything is all perfect, but there's one thing that I think Flywheel needs to improve on, and this is the stats. Right now, they show the basic stats, but I would want to see everything drilled down to which pages were visited so I can get a view of how my site is performing. At the moment, it just tells you how many people have visited your website on a daily basis. So I think it's one of those things, if the team over at Flywheel are listening, I think that's something that needs to be improved to make this even much better. Okay, I would like to hear your thoughts. What platforms are you using for your hosting, and what's your experience with that? I've also created a mini course, so I've also included that in the show notes below. You can go ahead, watch those videos. It's a free course. All you need to do is to sign up, and that will get you up and running with Flywheel. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'd like to hear your feedback.